It's the black guy in the corner, but they'd rather see a on the corner. They say I'm stealing Nick's clips like I'm stealing Nick's chick, not knowing that I hit him first week for the lick. I said, Nick, I could post here while you post there. Let's run the ads up, then let's meet up over there.
Good evening, everybody. You're watching America First. My name is Nicholas J. Fuentes. We have a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back with you here tonight on Thursday. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Lots to get into. A big show. And it's sort of a slow day today. There's like nothing happening in the news and nothing really happening in the political world either. No real major developments in the ongoing fallout from the GOP civil war over the interview. But tonight, our featured story, we're going to talk all about Tucker Carlson's latest comments about it. I think this is the first public appearance he's made since the interview. He did an event with Megyn Kelly today, and it seems like he doubled down on the interview because for the first time he was pressed, and Megyn Kelly asked him, she said, "Why did you not press Nick Fuentes on the horrible, horrible things he said?" And Tucker said, "Well, why don't you do it?" He said, "You interview him. I'll give you my phone. You can call him yourself," which is awesome, which I love. So we'll talk a little bit about that and other comments he made during the interview. Sort of interesting how he's framing it. He said that compared to what Randy Fine has said, the congressman from Florida who loves murder and genocide, Tucker said Nick Fuentes has said nothing as bad as that. He said, and that's a live streamer versus a U.S. congressman. So Tucker appears to be standing tall. Good for him. We'll talk all about that. We're also going to talk tonight about the fallout at the Heritage Foundation. Major piece in the Washington Post about it today, talking about how the organization is coming apart. And it turns out the National Task Force for Combating Anti-Semitism, they're done. They're out. After their town hall meeting was leaked yesterday, you have a number of Heritage Foundation employees and researchers who are quitting in protest because, according to some from inside the foundation, they don't even believe that Kevin Roberts has given a real apology yet. So what the hell is that? According to the Post, they're still crafting a condemnation of Tucker. Yoram Mazzoni is working with Kevin Roberts to choose the right words, how they're going to condemn Tucker, how they're going to condemn his anti-Semitism and blah, blah, blah. Is it not all so ridiculous? Can I be honest with you? Can I do that? Will you allow me? I am so over all of it. All of it. And I put out a tweet today just in complete frustration. I've given all my hot takes. I've given every hot take there is to give about this situation over the past week and a half. And it's been a long week of shows and super chats and things like that. And I am just exhausted by all of it. All of these hot takes, 5D chess narratives from all of these people. And can I say this? And I don't know that this is good for me to say politically, but it's important to say. You have to understand, it is all of us against all of them. We are alone. I am alone. You are alone. It's just us. And I appreciate the support I've been getting from a lot of my allies, some of my allies, but nobody's really on my side. Nobody's really on our side. Nobody can help themselves. What am I talking about? The situation that we find ourselves in, let's be very clear, is a hostage situation. That's what this is. This Trump government, this Republican Party, this whole country, it's under Israeli occupation. That is a scandal. That is our reality. That is the most pressing political reality of our lives. And it's clear everywhere you look, every way you look at it, this war in the Middle East that goes on without end. Still, they want us to get in another war. We bombed Iran this year. We'll do it again. Mark my words, we'll do it again soon. The acquisition of TikTok by Larry Ellison, of CBS, where they installed Barry Weiss. You have Elon Musk being dragged to Auschwitz-Birkenau and Israel to meet with Netanyahu and Ben Shapiro. You couldn't write it better if you were telling a joke, okay? Now, for the past 10 years, I have been the most talented broadcaster, certainly among the most talented, if you don't think I'm the best. And I have been treated like I'm radioactive, like I'm literally made of radioactive material. Banned from airlines, banks, Twitter, Facebook, Airbnb, you name it. Banned from Turning Point USA, CPAC. I get disavowed by the Prime Minister of Israel and the Speaker of the House and the Republican Party. It's like in the Republican Party platform, they're disavowing me and yay. This is a situation that we find ourselves in. Why? It's not because of my views on race, which are apparently now accepted by the Republican Party or some mainstream commentators in the Republican Party. It's not my position on replacement migration, which has also been accepted. It's not my position on anything other than this issue, because I am stubbornly and ideologically and consistently critical of Israel's domination of the country and of the Republican Party and of these institutions. And for that, I have been unfairly maligned and attacked and lied about and blacklisted and blackballed and harassed. All the things you have known about. You know my story at this point. We're in the middle of this situation now where I interview with Tucker, and the reaction to it has this range where on the pro-Israel side, it's a complete meltdown. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, they have fired up the cancel culture. And Mark Levin says, what are you talking about? We cancel people all the time. We cancel Pat Buchanan. We're going to cancel him. Shapiro does the greatest hits clip on Monday. Well, he hates women. He's a racist. He's a sexist. Okay. So you got the Israel side's freaking out. They're getting Heritage Foundation canceled, the rest of it. Then you have these fence sitters in the middle. Matt Walsh, Jack Posobiec, the others, they say, why is anyone talking about this? Let's go back to winning elections. They say there's two sides that care all about Israel, those that are pro-Israel, those that are anti-Israel. We just want to get back to winning elections. Really? Matt Walsh, the reason you don't talk about Israel is because of that nonsense and not because your boss is Ben Shapiro? Be so for real. Your boss is Ben Shapiro. You couldn't talk about Israel if you wanted to because you would be fired. You're loyal to, he goes on this rant the other day about loyalty. Personal loyalty is the most important thing to me. You're loyal to Ben Shapiro. Drop the tough guy act. You are a cuck, dude. You're personally loyal to Ben Shapiro? Ew. Barf. That's in the middle. And on the other side of the spectrum, even the side of the spectrum that's supposed to be on our side, that gets it, tone policing. Tone policing. You know, and listen, I'm not trying to diss anybody, but I'm getting really sick and tired of hearing this kind of stuff. I'm not going to name any names, but I hear things like people I consider friends calling me an anti-Semite. People I consider friends saying I need to disavow all the talk about Hitler. You said some fucked up stuff about Hitler. Saying, I only care about Israel. We need to get onto the other issues. We are alone. I am alone. You are alone. We are alone. All these political players playing games, setting plays, playing games, posturing, finding an angle, hot takes. I saw Michael Knowles and Chris Rufo. They said the real thing with Nick is that he's not a real Nazi. It's, it's a hyper reality where they're leaning into Nazism, but there's no real ideology. There's nothing really there. It's so not that complicated. All of you people, all of you, the Levins and Shapiros, the Walshes and Posobics, the Gavins and the Alex Jones, and it's so not that complicated. Look at where we are. The entire country, the entire Republican Party is convulsing because people don't want to support Israel. That's it. We are giving Israel $35 billion to kill kids. $35 billion to kill kids while we're in a debt crisis, while we're at war with Russia. And we're taking a detour to give Israel $35 billion to kill kids, aircraft carrier strike groups to protect them. We bombed Iran. They acquired TikTok because too many people were talking about it. Literally, shut it down. Too many people are criticizing Israel. And now, the most popular commentators in America are Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Nick Fuentes, because we are the only ones who will say a word, a critical word about Israel. We are the only ones that are not completely owned. We're the only ones that are not completely afraid, that will say the slightest thing in opposition or in criticism of Israel. And now that the most edgy member of the trio is moving slightly closer to the mainstream, 3 pieces in the New York Times, 2 pieces in the Washington Post, the Atlantic, the firewall keeping out Nick Fuentes is crumbling. People are making videos, the clips. He's a Stalin admirer, a Hitler adorer. The level of dishonesty, the level of lies and dishonesty. And by the way, they're trying now to make me a scapegoat. Look at how all of them are treating me. All of them. They're making me out now to be the scapegoat so no one can ever criticize Israel. Too many people are criticizing Israel. So now that Tucker had me on the show, they're going to dredge up clips where I always say Hitler's cool. And everyone now is going to join in and be complicit in it and throw me on the pyre and crucify me so that I will die for being the one that will criticize Israel. Maybe literally, certainly figuratively at this point. And I'm telling you, I'm not going onto the pyre willingly. Fuck you. I'm not taking back anything that I said. I'm not going to stop focusing on Israel so Republicans can win elections. Fuck you. I'm not going to stop talking about the Jews. And by the way, when Tucker says this speech about collective guilt, I have no idea what he is talking about. I am a Christian. We are not talking about genociding anybody. We are not talking about collective guilt. We are possessed by the radical notion that the Jewish state of Israel has something to do with Jewishness. So you can save that speech about collective guilt. We've heard it 4 times now. We got that. Tucker said he told the #1 purveyor of anti-Semitism that anti-Semitism is wrong. Is that what you saw in that interview? Was that what you got from that? Why are we still using that word? What does that word even mean? Sorry, I'm possessed by the radical notion, you can call it identity politics, whatever you want, by the radical notion that the state of Israel cannot be divorced from Jewishness, from Jewish identity, from the religious belief, which has defined their community for millennia, that they are the chosen people. They defend their disproportionate representation and power by saying they're smarter than us. Okay? They say, why are we disproportionately represented in every institution? We're smarter than you. We're better than you. Why is Israel so powerful in America? Because Jews that have never set foot in Israel, that aren't Israeli, but were born in America, make billions of dollars here. And because of their, not religious, but ethnic affiliation with Israel, give their military tens of millions of dollars and contribute hundreds of millions to our political campaigns on Israel's behalf. And because for whatever reason, look, that's just the truth. Inconvenient. I know. Uncomfortable. Maybe not politically viable. Well, I'm not running for office. You see me running for office here? So I can tell the truth. And I don't know when I became part of the Republican team. Am I getting paid? I don't know when I was drafted and I'm supposed to be a team player and help Republicans win elections. Have you stopped chasing me out of CPAC for 2 seconds? Now I'm expected to walk a very fine line so that Trump doesn't lose and Vance doesn't lose and he's the only one we got. People are saying, well, what do you want to happen? What do you think's going to happen? I'm here telling the truth. I want to tell the truth. I want people to know the truth. I want someone in power that is like America First. What country are you from? What do you want out of this? Whose side are you on? So I'm getting really agitated, honestly, about all of it. I'm getting really agitated. The level of dishonesty and the level of lying is about 10,000 feet deep. And it's so convoluted, layers and layers of lies. Megyn Kelly said, he said awful, horrible things. Shut up. Shut up. You know what's awful and horrible? What is happening to our country. He said these awful and horrible things. Grow up. How old are you? There are words on a show on the internet from a adolescent male live streamer, and people are, the hand wringing has got to stop. That's all I've been hearing all week from Eric Metaxas. Shut up. Shut up. Shut your lying mouth. From all of them, Shapiro, this guy, the Christian Zionist, the pro-Israel crowd, the women, Megyn Kelly. He said awful, horrible, monstrous things. You really don't have an imagination. You think that's the worst thing happening in our country? If you followed the coverage of the Tucker interview, you would think that this country is utopic. And the only problem is that somewhere in the suburbs of Chicago, a young man said some naughty words. Really? Like, look around. 10 million illegal aliens in 4 years. We're at war with Russia. You have half the country is on welfare and hates Americans, hates whites. All the women are feminists. You know, 85% of the 18 to 29-year-old women voted for Zohran Mamdani, this like race communist. You know, the stabbing of Irina Zarutska, Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck, the genocide in Gaza that we're paying for, and literally it's so sticky, we can't get out of it. There's no way out. Netanyahu is living part-time at the White House, ordering us around, bomb Iran immediately, like, and people are going, this monster with his show. At a certain point, somebody needs to just stand up and say enough of the lies. And by the way, I didn't come here to bring peace to the Republican Party. Guilty as charged. I came to bring a sword. I came to, and I don't mean to sound blasphemous when I say this, but I came here to tell the truth. It's actually not my job to unite the Republican voters. That's your job. You people that are paid by the Republican Party, you people that have the clout, you people that are in the clubs that I'm not allowed in, that's your job. People are saying he's dividing the right wing. Good. It's about time. Look at our right wing. Our right wing is a joke. Look at this administration. What does the right wing even stand for? Does it stand for Americans? No, they're cowards. They're feminist. They're pro-LGBT. They're pro-diversity. They're barely Christian. You know, is this administration, do you get a Christian vibe from them? No. They're not deporting anybody. They're not serious about any of it. Charlie Kirk died, and Trump could barely muster a sentence about it. Forget about, they talked about shutting down Antifa. When's that going to happen? It's about time somebody came in and shook things up and stirred the pot. And this monster, this horrible person, he's evil. He's dividing the party. What's his end game? Somebody needs to get up and cut through all the dishonesty. Ignore it. Ignore it. Sidestep it. I'm not going to argue it. I'm not going to debate it. I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to entertain it. Someone needs to cut through all of it with clarity. Someone needs to cut through all of the nonsense, all the subterfuge, all the calculated deception, which is what I do on the show, and just say it simply. We want to be free from Israel. The Jews have too much power. Yes, I use that word. The Jews have too much power. They're too selfish with it. They've been doing it for too long. They got too greedy with it. Someone needs to say it. It's what it is. Bill Ackman and Larry Fink and Miriam Adelson and Mark Levin and all these people from all different walks of life, and Democrat and Republican, and in Wall Street and Silicon Valley, they're using their influence to benefit themselves and Israel at our expense, and they lie about it. And if you talk about it, they try to get you killed. If you talk about it, if you say it, they nag you to death. They gaslight you. They say, you're a hater. You're an anti-Semite. You're problematic. What about these other things from your past? They try to blackmail you, intimidate you. Someone needs to get up and say, hey, Megyn Kelly, are you going to call out Jewish power or not? Because if you're not, don't tell me I'm a monster, because you're a coward. Don't say I'm all these things that I've said. And by the way, I'm getting really sick and tired of being called a monster. I'm not a monster. I'm not a violent person. I don't have a criminal record. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a Christian. I'm an American. I love my country. I love my family. I love God. People line up to give me $100, dozens of them every night, to say, I went back to church because of you. I got my life back on track because of you. I stopped smoking weed because of you. I stopped my pornography addiction because of you. I got married and had kids because of you. But all everybody can ever focus on, they don't even watch my show. They don't know me. They haven't spent an hour with me. They don't even watch my show. They don't know anything that I'm about. But they want me to be the scapegoat. So flippantly, throw me under the bus. He said Hitler is cool. He's a Nazi. That's evil. You're evil. No, you kill me with my reputation. Last I checked, when you do your examination of conscience before confession, it does not say thou shalt not admire Stalin or whatever. You can't kill people with detraction and lies. You can't bear false witness. You're liars. You're cowards. You throw me under the bus because you don't give a shit about me. You don't care about my followers. You don't care about the truth, and you're weak. You're afraid of them. You're afraid of what they'll do to you. You're afraid of what they'll think of you. You're afraid of how they'll punish you. And it's easy to take a guy, I'm a modern day leper. It's easy to take a guy like me and throw me under the bus. And to use words like that, I'm evil, I'm a monster. There's a lot of evil in the world today. And I'm not a perfect person. God knows we could all choose our words more carefully. When you're live 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 10 years, since you're 18 years old, you say things that are funny. You say things that can be taken a certain way out of context. Or you just say things. Sometimes we're allowed to think things that are controversial. actually, and it doesn't make us bad people. I want my freedom of conscience. Can I think a little bit? Can I speak freely? Can we have ideas without being called evil monsters? People saying, what's his end game? What does he think about the next election? I don't know. We vote, we campaign. It doesn't seem to change anything. I'm less worried about that, actually. I'm less worried about whether the Republicans are going to get the privileges of being in power this time around. I'm really just concerned with figuring out why we're always losing. Trying to pick apart and systematically determine who is doing this to our country and why. Why is our country changing like this? Why is it getting worse? Why are we paying so much, working so hard, so rich, but yet everything gets worse all the time? Why is it that the basic things, the things our parents had, we no longer have access to? A clean, orderly, wholesome, decent society. And everybody's trying to hang and lynch me. And I said it earlier in the week, and I still think it's true. How they treat me is what they think of you. They're lynching me. It's a lynch mob. That's what this is. This is a lynch mob. They're lynching me, and by extension, Tucker and Vance and the rest of them, which is ironic because me and Tucker don't even really agree, and I don't even like Vance. But how they treat me is how they treat all of you. If you watch the show, you think what I'm saying is funny. You agree with what I say. Maybe you don't agree with all of it, but you say, I kind of like this guy. And they would throw you under the bus in exactly the same way, because all of you, we're all just a means to an end. That's why they threw me out and discarded me in the very beginning. Because they were going to colleges. They weren't looking for citizens that were going to speak their mind and learn about politics and use the system to help their people. They were looking for obedient servants of the system. They're looking for Brylan Hollyhans. They're looking for sociopathic, spineless freaks who will do anything, say anything, so that they could be at the Reagan dinner at CPAC or whatever. They could be at the Ronald Reagan Freedom Dinner at the convention or something. And when they find out that, you're colorful, when they find out you have your own original ideas, when they find out you want power for your people, then you're as good as dead. You're a monster for daring to stand up like that. Anyway, so these are just some of my thoughts on the whole thing. It's so disappointing because to me, the situation is so clear, and I'll reiterate what it is. It's the hostage situation. It's Kevin Roberts going on a video. He said nothing wrong. He said nothing wrong. I'll keep saying it. He got up and he said, Christ first, America always. So beautiful. And he said it like smugly. He was like, here at Heritage, we're Christ first, America always, and we don't cancel anybody. And it was like, finally, someone with balls. I agree with everything he said. And no less than 5 days later, he's getting harangued by an IDF soldier. An Israeli soldier is at Heritage yelling at him and saying, this is like the Holocaust. He's getting yelled at. People are saying, oh, this is despicable. I can't believe we cancel people all the time. And he gets up and does this hostage video where he's like, I should have chose my words more carefully. That was an anti-Semitic trope. You're lying. Like, they made you say that under duress. This is a hostage situation. And Alex Jones and Gavin and Matt Walsh and the rest of them, I will stop talking about Israel when we're allowed to talk about Israel. Until then, I'm going to focus on it. Everybody wants to so quickly get off the subject. Why? This is so glaring. It's so in your face. It's so offensive to any decent person, any American with dignity. What does it even mean to be American? You want us all to get along in a civic culture that's based on the Declaration and the Constitution? What is that even based on? It's based on the Declaration of Independence. We emancipated ourselves to God that we are self-governing citizens of a republic. And now, as powerful as we are, we're enslaved to these people that hate Jesus, They don't care about us. They want us to participate in their ethnic cleansing, where they're raping prisoners and shooting innocent people in the back of the head and starving them and murdering children. This is a scandal. And one person is getting up and calling it like it is, and we're being gaslit and being told, well, you're just obsessed about Israel as they are. And I said this on Telegram. This is sort of like if somebody broke into your house in the middle of the night with a gun, stealing your valuables, and then took your kids hostage, and you wrestled with that person and you're fighting that person, and then your wife wakes up and comes downstairs and says, can you two cut it out, please? Can you two cut it out? I'm trying to sleep. You and you, knock it off. You're both the problem. Like, that's the equivalent of what's happening. Israel is not America, yet they control our system. We can't criticize Israel in our own country. We can criticize America in America. We can criticize white people in America. You can't criticize Israel in America. It's because they own us. We pay more for their health care than we pay for our own. We pay more for their wars than we pay for our own. And somebody gets up and says, this is unacceptable. This has to stop immediately. We should be able to speak freely about this. This shouldn't be this way. This is corruption. This is foreign interference. And we get people that are supposed to be 1776 and American stumbling down the stairs and saying, all right, both of you knock it off. Both of you knock it off. You're obsessed with Israel and I'm obsessed with putting America first. We can't do that as long as this is a situation. And then still other people want to talk about my language. They want to talk about Hitler. I don't talk about Hitler on the show. I've done, 1,500 episodes of this show? I've done 1,600 episodes of this show. I think I've talked about Hitler in about 10 of them. You really need to disavow what you said. I'm not running for office. You. People say you really need to take that back. You need to clarify what you meant. Why? I actually don't. I don't owe anybody an explanation. None of you people helped me. All these years, people have been doing, all they have been doing is giving me these like backhanded compliments and trying to appropriate my audience and trying to gaslight me and steer me some other way if they weren't outright trying to fuck me behind my back. And then they want to tell me, you need to explain yourself. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. You people need to explain yourselves to me. All these leaders, all these people with influence, all these people with buy-in, I'm not talking about anybody specific here, but it's all these other people that need to explain themselves. I'm done. So anyway, what are we even talking about tonight? Do we even have a show tonight? Do we even have news tonight? These are just some general thoughts about how the conversation's progressing. Because, what effectively happened is that I am like a human wrench or like a human bird that flies into a jet engine, one of its engines, and the whole engine explodes. And as the plane is going down, everybody's like trying to figure out what happened. It's kind of like that. And so some people are saying, why is he being covered in the New York Times? He's being boosted by the left. And other people are saying he's here to discredit real America First. And other people are saying he's just a Nazi. Then still other people are saying he's not a Nazi. He's too beta to kill 6 million. That's Dinesh D'Souza. Then other people are saying it's hyper reality. He doesn't believe in anything. And it's like, guys, it's so easy. It's so basic. I'm Gen Z. I'm white. I'm Catholic. I'm American. I want my country back. It's that simple. I'm edgy, I'm funny, sometimes I'm serious, sometimes I'm silly, I'm a messy, strong, beautiful person, and I just want my country back. It's that simple. I want the promise of the Trump revolution, and I want it now. Trump promised us in 2015, America first. He said, I will literally take this country and make it great again. He said, I will decline the special interests, the lobbyists, the global banks. He said, and I will get in the middle of it, and I will literally take the country and make it great. I'll end the wars. I'll close the borders. I'll bring back the factories. Where's that? That's what I want. That's what I've always wanted. And I've been canceled maybe perhaps for being more honest than other people. And I'm right. I'm right. I won. I defeated cancel culture. I'm the most popular streamer. I'm the most popular political streamer in America. I'm the #1 conservative under 30 in America. And it's for a reason. People agree with me. People get it. The people, the young people, they get it. You know, Megyn Kelly, if you don't understand that, I feel bad for you. But everybody else gets it. Maybe you should watch the show. And they're rich. That's the other thing. They're all rich. All these people wagging their finger in my face, Megyn Kelly, you're rich. You don't know what it's like down here. None of you people know what it's like down here. Okay? I live in a working class neighborhood. Always have, and I still do. You don't know what it's like down here. Yeah, Tucker, I live in Chicago. Yeah, I live in Chicago. Yeah, we live down here. We deal with this stuff. Okay? This is our lives. All these rich people, all these rich and powerful conservatives, they make millions of dollars. They rub shoulders with influential people. They're always name dropping and dropping. Oh, I talked to someone in the FBI. Yeah, well, we don't have that luxury, okay? I'm not in on that. People are telling me, what are you doing? What's your end game? I talk to people in government and they don't know what you're about. Okay, well, I don't. I'm a guy in Chicago speaking my mind and everybody's like trying to lynch me because I have common sense about all of this stuff. So maybe it's time for all of you to listen. Instead of inviting me on your show to give me the what for and tell me whatever, maybe it's time for people to listen. I think that's why everyone's mad at Tucker. Because Tucker didn't bring me on. Apparently, he was telling me not to be anti-Semitic. I didn't even know that. That's news to me. He just said that today. That's really interesting, I guess. But other than that, he said that he brought me on to listen and to hear what we have to say. Well, I hope he was listening. I hope they're all listening now. We don't want any more bullshit. Enough lie. And we could tolerate a little bit of bullshit, but this is too much. You know, maybe 20 years ago, it was different or something, but like, it's just too much bullshit now. We're tired of like the lies on lies, the inversions on inversions. We defeated wokeism, but we really didn't. Anyway, that's that. I do want to move on. We haven't even started the show. We have to get into our news. What am I even talking about tonight? Before we start the show, I want to remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble, smash the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. The only reason I'm doing this little extended monologue at the beginning is because there's nothing in the news. So I'm just giving you a little recap, little discussion. But remember to follow the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, check out the merch store, Fuentes.store. We're going to get into some of our news here in just a moment. Our big story tonight is that Tucker Carlson has appeared to double down on the interview. We'll talk about that. I think that's the only thing we're going to get into tonight. And so the interview happened over a week ago, and Tucker Carlson has made a public appearance today with Megyn Kelly to discuss the interview. And it seems that he doubled down on it, whereas maybe people were expecting him to backtrack or explain himself or apologize. He seemed to double down. I'll read to you this story about it from Mediaite. It says, quote, Megyn Kelly sat down with her old Fox News colleague, Tucker Carlson, for the latest episode of her Sirius XM show and asked Carlson about his recent platforming of white nationalist and vehement anti-Semite. I'm starting to like it when they call me that. Careful what you wish for, suckers. I'm starting to like that. You know, I used to get mad, like earlier in the week, my stomach was in knots because every article was like vehement anti-Semite, Hitler worshiper. But then I had a change in perspective, which is there any real nigga out there that isn't called this? Or throughout history, all of the realest niggas in history were virulent anti-Semites and racists. Can a just pop off real quick? George Washington, racist. Abraham Lincoln, racist. Christopher Columbus, racist. Jesus split the veil. His parting gift is that he tore the veil covering the Holy of Holies and shook the earth. So the more that I read that, I'm just translating it in my head as real. When people say white nationalist, racist, anti-Semite, Nick Fuentes, I'm just reading badass motherfucker. I'm just reading real ass. I don't care anymore. Say it. No one cares anymore. Keep saying it. Every time you say it, it loses power. Because I'm really not a hateful person. Like I'm not filled with prejudice and bigotry. People say he's a bigot. I'm really not. Like I love everybody. I have friends from all different backgrounds. But keep saying it. It loses its power every time. You want to bring that on yourself? Go ahead. Bring it on yourself. All people are going to say is we don't care about those labels anymore. And actually they signal that someone is a rebel. That just means I'm legit. That just means I'm a revolutionary. And what's Ben Shapiro? Ben Shapiro hates Goyim. Ben Shapiro thinks all whites are Jew haters. He thinks that Arabs bomb crap and live in sewage. He doesn't get called a racist because he's part of the Jewish system. So he's a conservative activist. Well, that just means pussy. That means I'm the real deal. I read that in the New York Times. I read that in the Washington Post. I like that shit. Keep it up. Racist, anti-Semite, virulent racist. I saw it from my friend Clyde in the New York Times. Clyde McCready said, the rise of Nick Fuentes, the 27-year-old white nationalist, and his young racist anti-Semitic Groyper movement. There's something else he wrote about me too. He said I'm an avowedly racist anti-Semite. I just read that and I'm like, based? It says the struggle and its stakes for the nation burst into view after the conservative commentator Tucker Carlson last week offered a friendly interview to Mr. Fuentes, an avowedly racist anti-Semite. I read that and I was like, I don't care. Fine. You know who else was an avowed anti-Semite? Mel Gibson, Michael Jackson, Kanye West, Richard Nixon. I just got my ticket punched. I'm in the real ass club. Stalin, Wagner, Henry Ford, Charles Lindbergh. Yeah, welcome to the club. Anyway, but let's go through it. So anyway, I was really pissed about that earlier in the week. I'm like, why are they saying these things? And by the way, can I just say something that's really amusing to me? One other thing. I said this a few months ago, and I don't even know if people understood what I was saying, but it was so prescient. Over the summer, I was going mega viral for criticizing Trump, for bombing Iran, for burying the Jeffrey Epstein files. And so I was blowing up on TikTok and Instagram, and liberals were agreeing with me. They said, I can't believe I agree with Nick Fuentes. The worst person you know just made a great point. And when I was being covered in the media, when I was shitting on Trump, you know what they called me? Conservative activist. It's so transparent. When I criticize Trump, I'm conservative hero, far-right humanitarian Nick Fuentes. Angelic leader, angelic martyr for the truth, Nick Fuentes stands up to Trump. They would say things like that. Now that I'm on Tucker and I'm like being used to attack Tucker and Vance, they say racist, anti-Semite, Stalin apologist, and Hitler worshiper, Nick Fuentes. And it's just so, the media is so transparent. Why do you think the country is this way? Because all the media does is lie. How do you get someone like me, a man of a million faces? How do you get someone like me that is described as hyper-real and post-ironic and postmodern? Because our brains are literally fried by how much the media deceives us on a regular basis. Just even in my own experience. It's like you get whiplash. When I'm criticizing Trump, I'm a conservative activist. I'm a key Trump ally. when I go on Tucker's show and I'm being used against him, I'm the worst person alive, evil monster, Holocaust-denying bigot, and all-around piece of shit, Nick Fuentes. So the press, these people are scum because they lie. Anyway, and they have this agenda. We all know that. But anyway, I want to move on. The article goes on. It says, this is Megyn Kelly. She says, Nick Fuentes has said a long list of very vile things. Mentioning the interview, Carlson said, big time, including attacking my dad, which was the most vile of all. You know, Tucker, I really didn't attack your dad. Saying that your dad worked in the CIA is not an attack, okay? My mom used to work in a library. I didn't just attack my mom, okay? My mom used to work at Nordstrom. I didn't just attack my mom, okay, Tucker? Relax. Let's not get too... I know he died 6 months ago or whatever, and I'm sympathetic to that, or 8 months, I think it was. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I didn't attack your dad. Tucker said he attacked my wife, my kids, my dad. I didn't attack your family. I said your son works for J.D. Vance, your dad works for the CIA, and I guess he said his wife is Jewish. I didn't attack her. These are just facts, okay? Is even that? He attacked my dad. I didn't attack your dad. I said your dad was in the CIA, which he was. And that was after you were telling everybody that I was in the FBI. So like, what? What is even that? Weird summary of events. Very bizarre. I'll just be charitable and say, I don't know, maybe that was a demonic attack. Maybe he was overcome spiritually by something when he said that, because that's not really a faithful representation of what happened anyway. She goes on, this is Megyn Kelly. She says, yeah, I mean, personally, I have watched videos of him questioning the Holocaust, likening it to baking cookies in the oven. The horror. Oh my gosh, he said those things. What has come over this country? Like, seriously? She says, and there's no way you could have gotten to 6 million. That seems to be his theory. He seems to think that we've way overstated the number of Jews killed in the Holocaust. How absolutely dare you? She says he's ripped on poor Usha Vance in the most offensive terms. I mean, I called her a Jeet. She says, I mean, so what do you say to those people who say, why didn't you raise any of that in the interview? Tucker replies, you know, do your own interview the way you want to do it. You're not my editor. Buzz off. I mean, I don't know. You want to go yell at Nick Fuentes? I'll give you a cell. Call him and go sit and yell at him and feel virtuous or whatever. That's up to you. I got the same thing with Putin. Why aren't you yelling at him? Okay, why? So I can show that I'm a good person? I care about my wife and what she thinks, what my children think, and what God thinks. And that's it. I don't need to prove that I'm a good person to you. You may think I'm a terrible person. Okay, I'm just doing my thing, which is I want to understand what people think, and I'm committed to that. And if you don't like it, don't watch. Finally, someone just needs to say that. I love that Tucker said that. I don't agree with how he characterized the rest of it. I think that was a little dishonest. And maybe he's obviously emotional about his dad. Okay, fine. But I love that he said this because it's like, fuck off. I apologize for all the vulgar language, but there's just no other way to say it. For all of, like, we are all human beings. We are all decent people. Well, none of us are murderers or rapists or war criminals. None of us are carjackers or thugs or drug addicts. When people are coming around trying to guilt trip us emotionally over what you said or what you didn't say, take this back. It's like, fuck off. Just enough already with the language and tone policing. We're moral people. If someone is going around saying something truly vile, a lie, genuine racial hatred, actually advocating for violence, genuine cruelty, you know, that's one thing. But like, he likened the Holocaust to cookies in a joke. Grow up. He said Usha Vance is a Jeet. Grow up. Really. Anyway, so I like that that's what he said. But the article goes on. It says, Kelly had previously refused to denounce the likes of Carlson and Candace Owens over their controversial comments. Fuentes' long list of saying hateful things has ignited a fierce debate within MAGA, as many accuse Carlson of having led him into the movement. Fuentes has long been known for his explicit anti-Semitism, as well as his repeated calls for limiting the rights of women, minorities, and the gay community. What rights do I want to take? I don't want to take away anybody's rights. I just want women to shut up. That's just my opinion, okay? My opinion is women talk too much. And I have a right. Are you taking away my right to say that or think that? As far as minorities are concerned, I just wish they'd stop being so obnoxious. Is that really too much to ask? You're looking at me like I have three heads. All I'm saying is minorities are really obnoxious, and they should just behave. Hispanics, speak English. Muslims, too loud with the Muslim call to prayer. Black people, speakerphone is not the default option. Put it to your head. Indoor voices, please. Inside voices. Like, that's not taking away your rights. Anyway, it says his regular use of violent rhetoric has also called alarm. He said, all I want is revenge against my enemies and an Aryan victory. What's violent about that? What's violent about What's violent about that? The best revenge is living well. That's violent to want to live well? What's wrong with you? Anyway, so Tucker doubled down on it, and he went even a little further. It wasn't covered in this piece, but he said that Randy Fine, the Jewish congressman from Florida, Tucker said, Randy Fine has said far worse things than me. Let's go. But, you know, the whole thing is just, they're making us sound crazy. Do you know what I'm talking about? They, the Israel lobby, they have all of us twisting ourselves into pretzels, twisting ourselves into a knot, the gymnastics. They have all of us panicking and sweating, explaining ourselves and apologizing. What did you mean when you said, I don't know? I don't know. Maybe I was in a weird mood that day. Why am I explaining myself to you? They have all of us. We are now in the middle of a national conversation about talking. Nick said this on his show, and Tucker said this to him and didn't say this to him, and Kevin Roberts didn't say this about what Tucker said about this. Do you know how crazy all of this sounds? Do you think this happens in China? Do you think this happens in Russia? Do you think this is what a serious country sounds like? Is this what serious people sound like? The country is melting down because a 27-year-old live streamer went on a show, went on a podcast, and we talked about current events. And it wasn't even that interesting. I don't even think it was my best interview. It was fine. I don't think it was the best interview ever. I mean, the questions were Tucker asked me, what is porn? I think everyone kind of knows, actually. And the country is melting down because people talked. And then a guy said people should be able to talk. And now his whole staff is in revolt. You shouldn't have said that those people can talk because that guy said a lot of bad things on his show. It sounds insane. And they're making us sound insane. And that's why I say it's a choice. It is a choice to play these games. It is a choice to engage in the insanity. And the reason that people rally behind me, the reason the kids like me is because I don't give a fuck about those things. People are tired of this. There is nobody in this country, and certainly nobody under the age of 30, that wants to play these games. People, and let's just frame it in this way. Think about it this way. We live in a democracy. This is what we've been beaten over the head with for the past 10 years. Our democracy, our, sacred right to vote, all this. If you entrust the people to vote, you must entrust them to think and speak and to listen and to discern. Doesn't this make sense? If you are telling the country that it's your right, You have a say. You have a vote in who gets to be the president and what the president does. You have a vote in who gets to be in the Senate, in the House, and the rest of it. You're entrusting them with a pretty awesome responsibility. At the same time that we're telling everybody it's your sacred right to vote, you're a citizen, we're also telling them that we don't trust these people to think. We don't trust them with ideas. We don't trust them to listen and discern. You can't watch Nick Fuentes without hearing reasonable pushback. He needs to be challenged. Why? Why do I need to be challenged? If I'm a hateful person, I don't think people would like me very much. I don't think people would like my show. If I were wrong all the time, I don't think people would like my show. You just made me look like an idiot. You'd say, here's all the things he's wrong about. They need to drag me before a tribunal and put the screws in me and say, why? They're going to take a joke, something I'm laughing while I'm saying it, and say, what did you mean by that? I'm joking. Shut up. And so it's really a question of, are we going to play these games? Are we going to let these people control and police our speech, our conscience, our language, our morality? Because I'm not. All of these people come from the system. All of these people are rich. All of these people are influential. They all live in the powerful cities, and they all have more power than we do. They have more money than we do. They have more power than we do. They're responsible for ruining the country. They have their own small part in that. And then they want to come down off of their throne of lies and wag their fingers in our face and play moral police. You have no right to do that, and I don't have to justify myself, and we don't need to twist ourselves into pretzels justifying why two people are going to talk or why they're going to say words. I trust people to take the good stuff, and if they don't like a certain aspect of it, then they're not going to like it. But it's a choice. And maybe the bigger choice than any of the actual political things is to just not pay attention to the crap. Not allow ourselves to be gaslit. That's the biggest battle. And we have to keep the frame, which is this: the national crisis is not that Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes had a conversation. That's not the national crisis. The national crisis is that this government can't seem to put Americans first. It can't seem to solve any problems for the people. Democrats and Republicans can't solve any problems for the people because they're both taking too much money from the billionaires. That's the crisis. That's why we're in wars. That's why we're in wars. That's why we're cutting the corporate tax rate. That's why we brought in millions of illegals, which wasn't good for anybody. That's the crisis. So we have to keep the frame and say, if you're not talking about those problems, you're not to be taken seriously. And I've been really disappointed by a lot of the feedback from certain people. And I really, as I grow older, I am very impatient and I am frustrated with the backhanded compliments. It's time for people to get behind me and defend me in principle. I'm really getting sick and tired of this. I think Nick is a well-meaning guy, but he gets it wrong here, and here. It's like, I'm right. I'm 100% right. I hear this from people that I consider friends, and I'm just kind of done hearing about that. I'm done being concern trolled. I'm done being gaslit. People say, no, but it's not about the Jews. It really is, actually. It really is, and everyone knows it. It 100% is. And it couldn't be more obvious. Like, what do you mean? People are saying it's about the secular government of Israel and their policies. No, absolutely not. Dude, it's like, who is that gay kid in Stranger Things? He supports the genocide. You're telling me it's about Israelis? Like you have liberal Jewish celebrities that support the genocide in Gaza. Why do you think that is? It's because they're an ethnic and racial minority. They have affinity for their own group because Jews are the number one players of identity politics, world champions. They are the back-to-back 3,000-year world champions of identity politics. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows that's why they're so sensitive. That's why they want to bully everybody and cancel everybody. That's why they all care way too much about Israel. And I'm sick of hearing people like Vivek Ramaswamy say ban identity politics. For who? For who, dummy? Black people play identity politics. Asians play identity politics. Hispanics play, Jews play identity politics. The only people that don't are white people. So who are you talking about? And same goes for Tucker. Tucker says, I hate all identity politics. Okay, well, there's like one identity politics which defines the country, and that's Jewish identity politics right now. It's their identity. And you can be against that vaguely in a general way, but what are we going to do now, okay? Well, I hate identity politics. Okay, good for you. It's here. It's here. It has arrived. The non-whites hate the whites. The Jews only care about Israel. What are we as whites and Christians going to do? Because we are getting royally screwed. This was a white Christian country. We are losing market share. We're losing power. We're losing our way of life. And you're telling us never resort to identity politics. That's the one thing you can't do. Why the hell not? We have to go and win the argument. I have to win the argument with Mark Levin before I can get my country back. I have to go and convince somebody that only gives a fuck about Jews to drop his identity politics. How about we just take identity politics? There's more of us. You know? Tucker said, I like Ben Shapiro. I'm not at war with Ben Shapiro. I want a détente with him. Really? He hates you, dude. Ben Shapiro hates your guts. Why are you not at war with him? That was the other thing that was troubling. Tucker today said, I don't want to fight with Ben Shapiro. I don't want to go to war with him. I have a lot in common with him. Dude, he hates your guts. He hates your guts. He's lying about you. Tucker says, oh, I don't care. He's killing your reputation. And maybe he's not succeeding, but he's trying. He hates you. And this is what I guess to encapsulate it, to put a bow on it, and then we're going to move on into the super chats. I say this without I'm going to try to say it without any animosity. As I'm saying it, I'm hearing it. I'm a young man. My country has been stolen from me. And we have the older generation that is richer and more powerful telling us to stop fighting. I guess that's what I really hate more than anything. I'm a fighter. I have been fighting my entire life because I was forced to. Because I did everything I was supposed to do. I got into college. I voted for Trump. I was on the Trump campaign. I was ready to be a good conservative, and I got nuked from orbit by the Israel lobby because I wanted to put America first. I got nuked from orbit again because I said I didn't want immigrants to replace all the white people in America. And as a result, I have been fighting my entire life against censorship, cancel culture, blacklisting, my own side, working with the left to destroy me. And now that I have succeeded and triumphed, I am getting all these older people, Gen Xers and millennials and some boomers, basically telling me, pump the brakes, man, cool your jets, stop fighting. We don't need identity politics. We like Ben Shapiro. We like these people. We got, there's some good Jews too. We got to unite with some of the Zionists. We got to unite. And I'm like, no, I won't. People are telling me, you got to unite, be a team player, work for the GOP, blah, blah, blah. Why the fuck would I do that? These people have been fighting me. They left me for dead. They have sold out my country. Where's your fight? And this is where I really disagree with Tucker, and I like Tucker, but I disagree with him on this. He's telling me our job is to make our wives happy. It's like our sociological drive. We want to make our wives happy wife, happy life. How out of touch can you be? Ben Shapiro's not my enemy. I don't want to fight Shapiro. Yes, he is. Whether you know it or not, whether you think it or not, whether you accept it or not, he just is. He is our enemy. Politically. And so I'm just really tired of these people that are like twice my age or 3 times my age or even a little older than me. And they're all telling me, like, stop fighting, stop fighting. And like the gaslighting and the redirect. That's what I'm really getting frustrated with, because I'm on a war path, and so are all Generation Z young men. And let me tell you very simply why. It is because we have grown up in a society with no God, no country, no fathers, no men. Where's the fucking men? None of it. You know, the men didn't teach us how to do anything. We were not protected from our devouring mothers and women. And I'm not speaking strictly about, I had a good father and good mother, but the generality, we're protected from the overbearing women by the men. The women are feminists. They're, you know, we're getting half the bargain. We're being told you got to be chivalrous and you got to be a real man. You also have to be a pussy, and your wife is not, she's not going to act like a 1950s woman, but you better act like a 1950s simulacrum of what a man is in a advertisement from the 50s. Stand down. Oh, let's not hate the women. Let's serve them. Let's be their slaves. You come last. You're nothing. Your job is to get resources for your wife. That's what we're being told by the older generation. It's just like a giant middle finger. And then with regard to the country, people are getting sick of the Israel stuff. People are getting loud about it. They're talking about it. We're getting cut down. People talk about Israel the wrong way. They get fired. They get doxxed. They get their lives destroyed. Nobody's sticking up for these people. And we're being told, don't make it a Jew thing. Well, it is a Jew thing. And with race, we're being replaced. We're white. The country's becoming not white. It sucks. We don't want to live in little India. We don't want to live in little China. We don't want to live in little Somalia. It is racial. I don't want to live in a racially alien country. I just don't. Period. End of story. No, I will not elaborate. And we're being told, no, don't embrace identity politics. It's not about being white. Yeah, it is. So altogether, you can take your liberal ideology and shove it up your ass. Okay, these kumbaya boomers, and I'm not referring to anybody in particular, but generally, these kumbaya wife guy boomers, it's like we reject your ideology. We are going back to history. We reject your bullshit, fake conservative, really a liberal ideology, or kumbaya, John Lennon. Let's drop identity politics. Let's all kiss and make up. Let's see no race, speak no race, hear no race. We're not going to say anything about religion or Jews or anything like that. It's not working for us. It's not honest. It's not real. It's not what anybody needs. People like Andrew Tate and me and Ye and the problematic ones for a reason. It's because we're telling the truth. And your country club conservatism, maybe that works in Martha's Vineyard. Maybe that works where you people live. It doesn't work out here in the streets. Doesn't work out here in them streets, okay? It doesn't work out here. When all the rich political people are in their arranged marriages, and they're all rich, and they all live in zip codes where there's only white people, and the only black people they see are at CPAC. They only see Herman Cain and Ben Carson at CPAC. Yeah, you can be really liberal. But out here, down here, different story. And everyone knows that. Everybody knows where I came. If you watch my show and you hear what I say, you know where I come from. You know where I'm coming from because you live there too. It's all these country club Republicans like Megyn Kelly. How many years has she been making $20 million a year? When she was at Fox News making $20 million a year, how rich is she? And she flips her hair around with her, oh, my husband Doug. You're not out here. And it's easy for you to hand wave that away and say, that's just the anger of the lower classes. They're so angry. I don't know why. It's because it sucks out here. You don't get it. You don't live the lives we live, especially the young people. You're not dealing with the stuff that we're dealing with. And we're angry, but it's not pure emotion. It's righteous indignation. It flows from a very real reality that we're living. And we want to fight for it. We want to fight for a better future. And we're being told, you're not being sensitive enough. We're being told, don't fight, stand down, vote Republican, take it easy. We won't do it. I will not take it easy. I will not yield. I will not relent. I will not surrender. I will not moderate. I will not apologize. I will not explain myself. I will not justify myself. I don't owe that to you. And that's the difference between me and all these people. Kevin Roberts, we're going to fight for these young guys. Yeah, well, you lost them after your apology, cuck. Nobody respects you and nobody respects heritage. You're finished. Just a matter of time. Just wait. Anyway, we're going to move on. We'll take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. We'll take a look. What do the masses have to say? Am I a vile monster? I will not stand down. That's kind of been like my whole career. Very few people have ever helped me. Very few people have listened to me or taken me seriously. People have done nothing but try to fuck with me or condescend to me, or they wouldn't give me opportunities until it was safe to do so, or they benefited from it more than I did. And all throughout that, they have basically tried to get me to calm down. Hey man, just take it easy. And it's like, no, no, absolutely. I will not calm down until it's over. And you can, if you want me to calm down, then surrender. You want us to stand down? You first. You wave the white flag and then you'll get a different face. But until you surrender, we will never back down. We will never relent. We will never stop. And you can't guilt trip us. You can't emotionally blackmail me. You can't make me feel bad. You've lost the right. You have no moral high ground. You have no authority. You cannot tell me what to do. You fucked with me too much. And now people want to say stand down. And that's not my pride. That's me speaking on behalf of all of you, because you all know now what's going on with Israel. And that is what happened to me because I spoke out about it. And it continues to happen to me because I continue to speak out about it. So they would love for me to go away or to chill. They would love, you know what they want for me to do? They want to calm Nick Fuentes. They want to calm and low-key and relaxed Nick Fuentes that isn't telling anybody not to vote. They don't want the jokes. They don't want the edgy humor. They don't want the incendiary rhetoric. They want to calm Nick Fuentes. They want to relax Nick Fuentes that is going to come on the show every day and say, how can Republicans win the next election? I think we really need to focus on other policy. Guys, let's talk about something other than Israel. Like, that's what they want me to take all of you awesome young people, all of you heroic young men, and to get you guys to get married and have more kids than you can afford. Don't try to infiltrate the institutions. Go be a plumber. The one thing I said about Tucker's son is this, and I'll say it again, because listen, you tell me, is this an attack? People like Tucker and Charlie Kirk, they go to the young people and say, get married young, have more kids than you can afford, and go and be a plumber. Don't go to college. And it's the only thing I said about Tucker's son is, did Tucker's son take his advice? Because isn't that interesting? And maybe Tucker's a bad example, because Tucker seems very down to earth. He seems that way. I don't know what's in his heart, but he certainly seems that way. But that's what all these elites do. All the elites, they have a plan for you, which is shut up, go be a plumber or something, just fuck off, and go and buy a house and saddle yourself with debt and just go away. Just vote Republican. Don't worry so much about our foreign policy. Don't worry about what's going on in the Middle East. You just shut up, be a plumber, go fuck off to Ohio, get some wife, have some kids, get really busy, and just pay attention to what's happening at your school board. We'll worry about the empire. That's what they're telling everybody. And they want me to go live every day and say, hey, all you young men, make some commitments. Go marry some woman who probably is going to divorce you. Go have a bunch of kids with her because that's a good idea. You can go and buy a house and just go and don't worry about politics. Like that's what they want me to tell you. Back off. The peasants need to stay in the countryside. That's, on some level, that's what this is all about. They hate that I'm in the universities. They hate that I'm at the Ivy Leagues. They hate that it's in the White House and the administration. It freaks them out that there's so many Groypers all over the system. And they wish all the Groypers would go and just get married and make their living being henpecked by their wives and all the rest that comes with it, you know? So anyway, so that's that. We're going to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. I am just like, I have come out of this week with my fundamental goal, which is unchanged. Like, no, we're not giving up identity politics. No, we're not going to be gaslit that Jews have nothing to do with it. No, we're not going to be gaslit about our tone or our language. We're going to keep going the way I've made it this far this way. So far, so good. We're going to keep going in exactly the same way. We're going to move on. We'll take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say. Let's take a look. What do you think about the show?
All right, let's get right to it. I'm laughing because I don't know if y'all caught it at the end of the video. Mom's, she didn't realize I was recording, or she forgot. So she went to sit down because she was showing me that amazing quilt that she just made me. Dope quilt. It has all my elementary, pee-wee, high school, college, NFL. It's got all my like significant t-shirts to show the memories. My apologies. I'm just sharing a little bit. Let me get to the show. My apologies. But yeah, Moms was here. Matter of fact, that's funny. So Moms was listening to the show and she knows a little bit about Nick just because, you know, she watches more of the live shows. She doesn't really watch a lot of these review videos. But one thing that Moms did say about Nick is that he is charismatic. So that was before she heard all the N-words being dropped. But even then, she knows if I'm listening to it that, you know, it's just, you know, people use certain language. It is what it is. I should ask her, I guess, if she was offended by it, but she not tripping over it. She knows, like, that's my mom. She on the same thing that I'm on. Yeah, we on the same thing. So let's get to the show. All right. So I saw part of the interview that Tucker Carlson did with Megyn Kelly, and I did not like certain aspects of it. And I think Nick is given a lot of grace because Nick is showing that he wants to give people like Tucker and hopefully eventually Candace, but like a Dave Smith, these people that he has had certain spats back and forth with. And the one with Tucker Carlson, that was the one where it seems like it went left, but it didn't have to because they're more alike than not alike. And even with Candace to a certain degree, but definitely with Tucker responding to it, he's taken a whole lot of heat. So I think Nick is giving him grace because he does appreciate the fact that he is, you know, although Nick has his own platform, I think that interview with Tucker Carlson, what it did was it legitimized Nick to a whole lot of people. And obviously we're getting the backlash. So it legitimized him to, at least in the eyes of like a Ben Shapiro, let's say a Josh Hammer, Mark Levin, and all these other people that have such a problem with him being interviewed by Tucker. But also, you know, when my dad is just texting me saying, hold on, let me read the text. He said, PBS is doing a segment right now on the Tucker Carlson interview with Fuentes. That's tapping into a different audience. I saw CNN, I think, write something, or CNN put out a video on YouTube where they were responding to it. This is what they're concerned with. This is what they're concerned with. Because when people start hearing the things that he's saying, they don't disagree. And a lot of these people are Democrats. A lot of these people are frustrated, moderate Democrats who have been told that Nick Fuentes is a racist, misogynist, anti-Semite, even I reminded my mom, I was like, Mom, remember when they were saying that Trump, had dinner at Mar-a-Lago with a white supremacist, a known white supremacist? And I'm like, that they were talking about Nick. She was like, they were talking about him. So it's definitely waking a whole lot of people up, or I'm not even gonna say waking those people up. It's waking people up to who Nick Fuentes is. Congratulations, Ben Shapiro. Just like Candace Owens, and shout out to Candace Owens. She got #1 pod. Her and Nick, they're gonna get it together. But I guess just like Candace Owens was thanking Ben Shapiro, I guess we should thank Ben Shapiro, or Ben Shapiro should thank himself for introducing a whole lot of the world to Nick Fuentes by y'all trying to cancel him, and the way that you introduced him to the world, because you set such a low bar. Everybody was thinking that he was just this racist, misogynist, Nazi, Hitler, right? But then when they hear him talk, they're like, well, he's actually making a lot of sense. This is actually common sense. This is actually more moderate than a lot of people will present. And of course, have the rhetoric here and there, take it or leave it when it comes to that. Take it or leave it when it comes to that. However, a lot of y'all that are complaining about Nick's rhetoric kind of got to remember you were rocking with Trump, and our support of Trump, a lot of people supported Trump. When it comes to his non-political correctness, a lot of people will say, I think I heard Charlemagne say that Trump killed political correctness. So that stuff is out the window. And when you sit Nick down in front of a lot of these people like a Tucker, he's going to present himself in a way that's a lot more politically correct, in my opinion, or he just communicates more professionally than Donald Trump. Nick is he's letting them hang. He's letting us all know, like, yo, I'm the best at this. I've been the best for a very long time. Now y'all think y'all gonna come and silence me? Now y'all think y'all gonna come and give me some advice on what I need to be doing? Like, no, I took every bullet y'all shot my way, figuratively, not literally. Not trying to put that out there, but I took everything y'all sent my way, and I'm still here, and I'm bigger than ever. If you wanted to give me some advice, you should have gave it to me years ago, and give me advice with also giving me opportunities. A lot of people just like to give criticism. You waited until I got to this point. I had to figure it out. I had to climb out the mud, do all these type of things to figure out how to get here. Now you want to give advice, constructive criticism? Nah, you should have gave constructive criticism here, and also gave me an opportunity to go along with that constructive criticism if you really cared. If not, miss me with it. So Nick said a few different things. Oh, going back to what Tucker, one thing that I didn't like is when he did say, it came across in a way where I was like, Nick not gonna like that. And then when I heard Nick's response, initially I was like, all right, he's giving him a pass. But he did have to address these things. Nick has to address these things because Tucker has to be held to a certain standard too. You can't just get on there. Like, Tucker, say, I agree with certain stuff. That's why I didn't push back on it. Say exactly why you didn't push back on it. Say, I don't care what y'all say to me. I mean, the thing that I'm talking about when I say I didn't like it is when Tucker said that I told the #1 purveyor of anti-Semitism, something like that. Why are you categorizing Nick Fuentes as that? He's not that. He's not. I mean, do people really believe that Nick Fuentes is the #1 anti-Semite? Like, why? What exactly has he said that's so anti-Semitic besides the fact that he believes that there's a unhealthy amount of Jewish power on our country? And a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that whether it's Israel, Zionist, or Jewish Americans in AIPAC, a lot of people believe and do not like the fact that Israel, Jewish Americans, and Zionists have such a strong impact on our government. We see we have eyes. We're looking at what's going on with Donald Trump. We see the same people that said that they were never Trumpers, never supported him, but now these people are Donald Trump's right-hand man and actually contributing to the decisions that he's making. Or unless he's just making decisions and changing course, and all of a sudden he's just aligned with all the things that these people are aligned with, rather than being aligned with the things that he was pushing when he was running for election to appeal to his base. So we'll have to see. And then we wonder why a Mamdani pops up. Nick mentioned, I think that 85% of young women in New York City, I may have that category wrong, but I think he was talking about young women. I forget the ages that he mentions, voted for Mamdani. But then on one hand, I hear people saying like Muslims, they're sexist. They don't give women the opportunity to. Well, women are voting for him, and he also had an all-women transition team. So I don't know if you know if that's just some extreme Muslims. As much as y'all like to throw that radical Islam out there, I don't know. Let's see what happens though. Let's see what happens. And I asked, some girl wrote a comment criticizing Mamdani. And this is the thing, a lot of people are criticizing Mamdani, but there's different types of criticism that comes Mamdani's way. There's some people that are just criticizing him because they don't like socialist policies. They're more for capitalism. They don't want, their money taken out of their taxes and given to all these social programs. That's a fair argument. Cool. But there's a whole lot of other people that just don't want Mamdani in office. They'll try to act like it's the other thing that I just mentioned, or they'll try to conflate the two and act like they're one and the same. But there's a whole lot of other people that just don't like him because he's a Muslim. There's other people that just don't like him because he won't pander to Jewish people in New York City, how a lot of other politicians have pandered. Case in point, when you have the New York City mayors getting on stage, or the candidates running for mayor, and y'all are asking Mamdani questions, follow-up questions, because he said that he would stay in New York and not visit Israel. And y'all are asking him follow-up questions like, oh yeah, do you believe Israel has the right to exist? Clearly, this is demonstrating like, hey, there may be too much of an impact on our government by Israel, Jewish Americans, however you want to categorize it, because you pick and choose whether it's, oh, this just applies to Israel, or this just applies to Jewish people. Well, Jewish Americans, what do they have to do with Israel? They're Americans. What does that have to do with Israel? So y'all make the connection when it's convenient for you, it seems like. So let's keep going. Nick mentioned a lot of people. Nick may be tapping into some of these shows, man. I'm not trying to take credit, but I'm just saying. Nick mentioned that Abe Lincoln, racist, George Washington. I think he mentioned these people. I know he mentioned Abe Lincoln. I wasn't sure on the George Washington one. But he said Christopher Columbus, racist. He said a few other people. And this is something that I brought up the other day. Like, don't keep the same energy. Now, I brought it up to address a different point. The point that I was addressing was the fact that, here y'all are getting mad at Nick for being a Stalin apologist, or quoting air quotes saying that he's a Stalin apologist. You're mad at Nick for saying that, he likes Stalin. So what? Y'all like Christopher Columbus, who contributed to more deaths. What makes one, we already went over this. I'm not going to dive into it, but I just thought that was an interesting point that he brought up. Then he talked about how Mel Gibson, Michael Jackson, Richard Nixon, Henry Ford, Charles Lindbergh, I guess these are all the people that he's in the category of that were called anti-Semitic. Interesting. Didn't Henry Ford, hold on. Did Henry Ford, before I say what I'm getting ready to say, did Henry Ford make vehicles for, yeah, I know who I'm asking about. Let's see. Didn't Henry Ford have some type of connection with the Nazis? I don't want to say that. But it says Henry Ford was known for his anti-Semitic views and published articles in support of Nazi ideology. Ford's company, Ford Motor Company, produced vehicles that were used by the German military during World War II. The Ford plant in Cologne, Germany, operated under Nazi control and manufactured military vehicles. All right, I thought I heard that before, but I wasn't totally sure. So I don't like just throwing that term on people, throwing that blanket on people. But I guess it was true. So yeah. And all right, so another thing I want to touch on. He mentioned that when he criticizes Trump, or when he was criticizing Trump and going viral, that a lot of these, I guess the liberals were coming out saying that he's a conservative activist, or I guess they wanted to hold him in higher regards because they have to look at this gentleman, Nick Fuentes. He's criticizing Donald Trump. He's a conservative activist. But then when he's talking about something else, or he's on Tucker, or if he's complaining about us giving funding to Israel, Then he becomes a racist. Then he's the anti-Semite. Then he's the Stalin apologist. Then he's the Hitler worshiper. The media picks and chooses. And Nick brought up something very, very key to all of this. When we wonder why Donald Trump won, when we wonder why Mamdani won, when we wonder why Nick Fuentes is getting the type of push that he's getting, why people are interested in Nick Fuentes, why you can't cancel him, the reason is because the media has done such a terrible job. Donald Trump started it with the fake news. The media is so fake and phony and disingenuous. People are sick and tired of it. That's why people started to appreciate Donald Trump and his communication style. That's why Mamdani won, because people started to get pissed off with all of the media pandering to Israel, pandering to the Zionists, and our country pandering to it. And Mamdani said, nah, I'm not with that. That's what won Mamdani the election, in my opinion. What's gotten Nick so big? It's because the media, people do not want to hear from people on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. Y'all are phony. Y'all are not real. It doesn't even come across genuine. It comes across like you're getting paid to be on a particular side. That's what it comes across as. You just choose a side based on whatever your network says that you should choose. That's what's happening. Nick Fuentes is not doing that, and he's getting rewarded for it. He's reaping the benefits of being real and being his true self. You may dislike it, cool, but somebody has to be real enough for you to even decide whether you dislike them or not. A lot of people will give you so many different sides to them, depending on what room they're in, depending on who they're surrounding themselves with, depending on the day of the week, depending on, what, depending on a whole bunch, who's lining their pockets at that particular time. You don't know whether you like them or not. You can, matter of fact, you probably dislike all 5 of them. They acting like this one day, you probably dislike all 5 of them. When it comes to Nick, there's an appreciation there. You can dislike him. You can get pissed off, emotionally triggered by some of the things that he says. You can do all that. But there's something there. There's something there, like I said, when I was talking to my mom about it, like a charisma. And it's almost, even when I was talking to her, she's like, oh, he seems like just an innocent little kid. There's something about it, because when you look at him, it doesn't, if you don't really watch his show, you're not really going to probably appreciate maybe how well versed he is in politics. It's just like, oh, who's this little kid? You know what I mean? So, yeah. So it's, thank the media, thank Ben Shapiro. Like, when you listen to a Ben Shapiro show and then you listen to Nick Fuentes, can you not tell the difference? Like, aside from what they're saying, can you not just tell the difference between, like, yeah, I kind of just lean this guy's way. Okay, now what are they arguing again? What's the policies? Oh, okay. That to me seems to be what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, this is what he said. He said, why do you think the country is like this? How do you get someone like me? Because all the media does is lie. Our brains are fried from how much the media lies to us and about us. And now people are now directing that same energy towards not only the Israel fatigue, but also thinking back to how we've been indoctrinated and manipulated our entire upbringing. Our brains are fried from it. Now, what's actually appealing are people that will tell it to us straight and incite certain things in us to make us question, to make us think back and say, you know what? Maybe this indoctrination that they did a tremendous job at, maybe it has shifted the way that I thought up until now at this point. Because when we feel like we're being indoctrinated, we feel like we've been manipulated. We feel like, oh, y'all lied to us. You thought I was a fool. You insulted my intelligence. So then it almost grows a resentment to where now you hear a guy like Nick Fuentes and you may push some of the rhetoric to the side just because you're like, know what? I'm just glad that he's speaking out on these things and calling these things out. So I'd rather listen to that than listen to the BS that a lot of the other media is spewing. So, and then when it comes to Tucker, he did say that Nick attacked his dad and his family, and he was talking about his wife. I wasn't aware of the whole son part, but Nick broke that down. It doesn't seem like he attacked him. It seemed like he just, said certain things that were true about him. Also with his wife, I guess did Nick say that he called out the fact that Tucker's wife is Jewish. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Okay. Doesn't seem like attacking. But obviously we know that it depends on how you say it and all that other stuff. But when it comes to his dad, I think that I'm very clear on that. Like him calling out your dad for being in the CIA, I don't think that that's an attack. I totally understand how it can feel like an attack to you, especially since you've expressed there's certain aspects of that you're ashamed of, I believe, Tucker. So I understand that, but everything's not an attack. And I think that this is an example of Nick showing his maturity. He could have easily got on this show and completely destroyed his relationship when it comes to Tucker moving forward. You know, Tucker felt that he had to come out and say certain things. He's under a lot of pressure. Cool. You know, don't take it too far, bro, because what it's gonna do for you, Tucker, it's gonna lose a certain amount of credibility, bro. Stand on what you stand on. Stand on what you stand on. It's not like you're Nick and you're 28 years old or 27 years old, whatever Nick is now, and you just need the money because you won't be able to survive and you never got to a big bag of money in your life. Tucker, you're good. You're good. Come on now. You can stand on some business. You can stand on principles. You can stand on morals. You can have some integrity, and you can stand on whatever it is that your truth is. So, and at the very least, if you're not going to do that, then don't say stuff like, oh, the number one purveyor of anti-Semitism. Don't say that like you're detracting from who Nick is. You don't have to even jump on, the show and say, I interviewed this person. I interviewed this person. Well, Randy Fine's saying things that are worse than Nick Fuentes. That's cool to say, but also don't feel like you have to justify yourself to all of these people. Just like you told Megyn Kelly. And I saw that part of the interview. And it wasn't just directed at Megyn Kelly. It was directed to all these people that are criticizing Tucker Carlson. Why don't you, Tucker, what did Tucker say? Okay, I'll give you Nick's phone number. Why don't you interview him? Why don't you push back on him? Why don't you do all these things that you're telling me to do? It's the armchair quarterbacks. A bunch of people that never been in the game, who are scared to get in the game, talking about the starter who's in the game. Work harder. You do better. You show me that you're better. You call him up. He'll gladly go on the show with you, Megyn Kelly, just like anybody else. So all of that tough guy talk, save it for when you interview him. All right, I'm going to leave y'all there. I'm going to leave y'all with that. Maya, you got anything else? Nah. All right, we good. You making dinner? Have it ready in the next fit. Nah, let me benevolent leadership. All right. I'll see y'all in the next one. As always, I appreciate y'all. Like. Please subscribe. Turn your notifications on. Don't let the algorithm control you. Create your own algorithm, right? Turn your notifications on. Continue to tap in. And most importantly, leave a comment. Y'all know what I always say at the end of every show. I'm biased. Sometimes I'm not as objective as I think that I'm being, or as I'd like to be. So it creates some type of blind spot. So that's what I have these conversations with y'all for. So you can remind me of certain things that I may be seeing or wrong or not seeing at all. It's appreciated. All right. I love it. I love it. Constructive criticism, any insight. I love it. So on that note, I'll let y'all go. Have a good one. And I'll see you on the next one.
It's the black guy in the corner, but they'd rather see a nigga on the corner. They say I'm stealing Nick's clips like I'm stealing Nick's chick, not knowing that I hit him first week for the lick. I said, Nick, I could post here while you post there. Let's run the ads up, then let's meet up over there. Let's figure out a split that's honorable and fair. Tell me where you trying to take it. Bro, I'll meet you there. 1600 Penn, Wash, DC. Swear I saw the vision riding through the DMV. I envision prayers, but I could do VP. Hillbilly elegy, fuck, I look like JD. Shout out my cheat code, Dave and Karen raised me. And my big bro, a nuclear family.
And they don't like that. Strong fathers in the crib, BLM fought that. LBJ society created all that. Victimhood mentality, I can't embrace that. And everything they taught in school, assume it's all cap. Everything I said I'd be, I am that. Everything I said I'd be, I am that. Everything I said I'd be, I am that. Ain't no introduction, just some fun facts. In case you were wondering, I am that. I know you heard me hit it 3 times for Dr. Umar. Shout out to Umar, man. We ain't kicking nobody when they down. And shout out to everybody that continues to show love, support, appreciating the message that I'm giving y'all along with the bro Nick's message. We gonna keep pushing, man. And shout out to the haters too, cause y'all in the comments heavy too. y'all the ones that gave me the inspiration to create this song. They kept saying like, who's the random black guy in the corner? I am.